and welcome back to another weekly What I Watched. We're getting it done on Tuesday, folks. We're getting there. We're getting a little bit closer. So without further ado, let's get kicked off with what I have watched this week. Okay, so we kicked off the week on the 2nd, on Monday, with the film Another Round. Now, I did speak a little bit about this last week. We're not wanting to read about that. I really enjoyed this. This is Mads Mikelson. 4 high school teachers launch a drinking experiment upholding a constant low level of intoxication. This is actually taken from a stage play. And tragically, the actual girl that convinced her father to put this into a movie was cast in the movie itself, and tragically actually died in a car accident. So they had to recast her role. It still went ahead. It's just very sad that she never got to see something that she really wanted to see translate over onto the big screen. But I really enjoyed this. It's a very much sort of like, rather than a coming of age, it's like a coming of middle age. It's these men and their lives and their relationships and the ruts that they're in, and they want to recapture a bit of that vigour and youth. They want to get that inspiration they once had. One of them is a music teacher, so he's a musician also. Mads Mikkelsen is a history teacher. He wants to regain the passion for his teaching. He's kind of lost that over the years. And these guys find that keeping this low level of intoxication opens up all kinds of doors in the brain. But they maybe push it a little bit too far by increasing, and that maybe affects other sides, other parts of their lives. So I would thoroughly recommend Another Round. I give that a 4 out of 5. Okay, the next evening I watched Aftermath. Right, I watched this in a couple of goes because I fell asleep the first time. I think that may be all you need to know. So this couple buy a house. It's massively underpriced for what it is because of the history in the house. The relationship's not doing the best. They think this is going to be a new start. And weird things start to happen in the house that maybe hint at the history it has. Now, the man and woman know what has happened in the house before they move in. They don't know the whole background behind why. I don't want to tell you any more than that without spoiling it for you. I expected something a bit different from it, so a bit of it was a bit of a surprise for me. I would say it's worth watching if you have nothing else to watch, but for me it picked up about 3/4 of the way through, but the first 3/4 of the movie was very, very typical, not very exciting. You knew where it was going, and then all of a sudden it's like the movie completely changed direction. I gave it a 2 out of 5. I did enjoy it. I do apologise. That's a tractor. I live in the country. The window's open because it's really hot today, and the farmers are out doing their work. What can you do? On the 5th, finally, I've been wanting to see this for so long, since Sean from Lost in the Reel recommended this to me. My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To. This has been on my watch list for ages. This is a movie, right, I need to be really careful about what I say. What does it say here? Dwight and his sister Jessie reach a crossroads over what to do with their little brother Thomas, a sickly child with a mysterious affliction. Well, I would say more so teenager, so big brother, big sister, he has a mysterious illness that affects every area of his life. They, in order to help him, have to do things that are perhaps a bit untoward, perhaps they shouldn't be doing. It sort of looks at the suffering side of this young man and the affliction that he has. It does go into a genre of movie that you will recognise pretty early on what's going on here. I'm not going to tell you, but the side of that affliction, and it makes something that we're very used to seeing in the world of horror and affliction, it makes us look at it in a new light, and to me a more accurate light, because it would be a complete affliction. I can think of another movie that does this very well, of the same genre. I can't tell you what the movie is without spoiling what's going to happen in this, so I won't tell you, but you will know the minute you watch it. It's a serious angle of a over-processed genre in other regards, but it's not going to be for those that are like straight out horror fans wanting like fast action, wanting loads of blood and gore and things happening. This is, I would say this is a drama with a little bit of a dark twist to it, not twist, a little bit of darkness to it. It's a drama, it's not full on horror. I would say if you enjoyed Hereditary and that kind of thing, you may enjoy this if you have the patience for the slow burn, which for me, when it's done well, is my preference actually. I would thoroughly recommend this. I did enjoy it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Same night, right, this was another one I've been wanting to see for quite some time. This was actually a lot better than I expected. Megan Fox, one of the most beautiful women in the world. This follows her and her very rich husband's failing marriage. They decide, or he decides, to what seems one last, well, the gumph in this actually tells you what happens. I'll read it to you. After a romantic evening at their secluded lake house, so he takes her there for an anniversary to try and rekindle the romance, a woman wakes up handcuffed to her dead husband. So this is right at the beginning of the movie. We know that he dies. She's handcuffed to him. This should automatically make you think of Gerald's Game. Very similar in a lot of respects. As a matter of fact, there's a scene where it shows the bedroom and it's like straight out of Gerald's Game. Even the shelf above the bed, everything. Now, I enjoyed this. So Megan Fox plays a woman called Emma, and we find out secrets that her husband actually knew about Emma and maybe her philandering ways. He has all kinds of things planned for her. And this movie is a movie of survival, a movie of her trying to survive against just all kinds of obstacles. This is like a grown-up Home Alone. That's how I'll put it. I did enjoy this. One thing took me out of it. You have to suspend belief completely. This woman walks around this apartment or this cabin with her husband chained to her, big guy. She's obviously small, slight. She's dragging him all around the place, handcuffed to him. I'm thinking, Jesus, woman, you've some strength. But she can't get out of the handcuffs. Now, everywhere in the place there are pictures on the wall. There's a massive glass vase that she finds her mobile phone submerged in. So we've got this massive big strong glass vase. We've got glass picture frames all over the wall. Why the hell did you not break any of it and cut her husband's hand off? I don't understand, but you know, there were little things that were really simplistic. It's like, well, why haven't you done that? And then in situations where, why is it in horror movies when the bad guy's down, do they not kill them? Because they're going to get back up again. When I say this, Darren says because it's in the script, but it's really frustrating to watch from the point of view of the viewer, thinking, what are you doing? Just break a picture frame, hack half the skin off his hand, you've got free, you're gone, off. But anyway, that frustrates me, no end. But I did enjoy it. I gave it a 3 out of 5. That part of it just irked me a bit, but it was a very fun, straightforward, really easy to watch, quite fast paced little movie. So yeah, I liked it. I know a lot of people are criticising it, aren't so keen, but it appealed to me. We will get later to one that everyone loves that I absolutely hated, and someone's already had a go at me about it. On the 7th, I watched Exhibit A. Now this reads like something I would love. This is a found footage style movie. It's British. Exhibit A tells the timely story of a normal family disintegrating under financial pressure, eventually driven to the unimaginable. So I'm not going to read any more. The husband, it's his tale as old as time. I'll not sing it to you. The guy's in debt. The family know nothing about it. Middle class British family. She thinks he's getting the promotion in his job. He's not. She thinks they're going to move house to somewhere else. They're not. But the daughter gets a video camera and she records everything on this camera. Her sort of deepest secrets, what her father's slowly turning into. I don't mean that in the sense of actual, just how he's changing as a person. She discovers things he's hiding. And this all culminates just horribly at the end. And this is very, very, very realistic. Something was lost for me. What did I give this? I gave it a 1 out of 5. I thought the idea was amazing, was superb. The characters really failed to grab me. I was very aware of the fact they were acting in every single scene that they were in. The budget was very low. I don't think that spoiled anything for me because, to be quite honest, with this storyline you don't need a large budget, but there was a spark missing from an idea that was superb. It was very realistic, it was very gritty. If you sat down to watch a gritty British drama on the telly, you'd probably really enjoy this. I was expecting something a bit more, I don't know, just a bit more, I don't know, Hollywoodized or maybe darker than this is, and that's hard to say given where we end up with this, but something was missing. 1 out of 5 for me. On the 8th, right, another one I'd been really looking forward to watching, John and the Hole. I wanted to watch this purely because Adam C. Hall, is that his name? Dexter? Michael C. Hall, I do apologise, he is in this as the father of a young boy who has various issues. He's very much mollycoddled by his parents. He doesn't get to make his own decisions. He very much is the product of what they want him to be. And one day he cracks and he decides to drug his family and place them in a hole in the back garden. They have an unused bunker, so when they're put in there, there's no way they're getting out. It's too high to climb up. And it just proceeds to be a drama about this young lad, about him finally having freedom to do as he wants, of feeling lonely, of certain dark thoughts he has. I was bored to tears with this. Michael C. Hall was just massively underutilised. The family themselves aren't in this very much. Vera Farminga's in this as well. Is that? I apologise if her name is pronounced wrong. Sorry, Taissa Farmiga, Farmiga from American Horror Story. She's in this. It's just a wonderful cast, and it did not grab me in any way, shape or form. It was beautifully filmed. The acting was superb, but I just did not care. The family could have stayed in that hole forever as far as I'm concerned. I really did not care whether they got out or whether they stayed in. This was so much better done by a movie called We Must Talk About... Oh, Lisa. You can tell when I sit down to do these, I just sit down and talk. I don't script anything, I don't look anything up. Maybe I should, it's not very professional. I will, when I'm editing this, have looked up the name of the film. We Must Talk About... Adam? Anyway, I will put it up. If you want to check out something a bit creepy, a bit weird about a coming of age kind of like person that the parents have to face up to isn't entirely normal, watch that instead. Don't waste your time with this. Okay, are you ready, folks? Are you ready to hit that unsubscribe button? Are you ready to switch off? So, I watched Suicide Squad last night with my husband. My husband had been wanting to see this in a big way. He loves this kind of thing, so I had held off going to the cinema to see this on my own because he really wanted to see it, so we finally watched it together last night. I'm watching reviews saying this is the best thing that DC have ever done. Can this guy direct every superhero movie from now on? Some people are saying, I love this, it's amazing. IMDb, I was reading after I watched it, some people were echoing everything I thought. I really did not like this movie. I'm not going to say it was a terrible movie, it just wasn't my cup of tea. Can I tell you what I said? A patchy mess of one-dimensional characters and the most dull of missions. Jokes don't land and the bad guy makes Doctor Who appear highbrow. The script is lazy and almost juvenile. The only characters I enjoyed were the Weasel and the Rat. This is honestly one of the worst superhero movies I've seen. It's every bit as bad as the last Suicide movie, and I really didn't think I'd be saying that. 2 stars purely for the special effects. That's it in a nutshell, guys. I'm sure loads of you will disagree, and that's fine. And as someone called Ryan said to me, I'm reviewing a completely different movie because what I said does not relate to that movie whatsoever. And that's fine. Ryan is entitled to his opinion, as am I. We all have different opinions. I do like some superhero movies. I absolutely loved the recent Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. I do like most of the Marvel, like Endgame and all that kind of thing. It wouldn't be the sort of thing I go out of my way to see. It's more my husband and son's kind of thing. But I can appreciate a good movie. This to me was not a good movie, purely because I did not care what happened to any of the characters. When we got to the end and we saw what we were fighting, it was laughable. I don't like Doctor Who for the same reason, and again, switch off, unsubscribe. The bad guys in Doctor Who to me are, it's like something a child would watch, and I'm looking at this at the end and I'm not going to say what it is, and I'm thinking, are we really seriously sitting here, 2 middle-aged adults, watching this thing? Really? And they're flying now? It's like, I mean, yeah, it's a superhero movie, and yeah, it's comic books, you have to suspend belief. I just didn't care. I just did not care about... I thought the Weasel was amazing. I loved him. He just made me laugh looking at him. The shark guy, I can't even remember what it was called, Sylvester Stallone's character, made me smile a few times. The Rat, I absolutely adored. I thought the Rat was amazing. Even Idris Elba couldn't save this for me, and that man is just glorious to look at. Everyone seemed to be underutilised. There was no real... I just didn't care. Harley Quinn just seemed completely one-dimensional, and I don't know, I did not like it. Harlequin's dress I very much liked, let me say that, but no, I didn't like it, and I know that will be divisive, and I know people have very different opinions on this, and most of you will disagree with me, but that was just how I saw it. I will go down when I'm finished this and ask my husband what he thought and put that in so you can get a bit of context from someone that loves this kind of thing. He was really disappointed too, so it wasn't just me. Right, excuse the light in the background. This is obviously filmed off the cuff. He doesn't know what I'm going to ask him. What were your thoughts on the new Suicide Squad movie?
I wouldn't watch it again. I didn't mind it, but it's not spectacular.
Were you looking forward to it?
I was.
Was it as good as you thought it was going to
No.
be? No.
Not a patch.
So would you say it's the best DC... Oh, dear God! Would you say it's the best thing DC had ever done?
It's not even in top 10.
Right, so you were disappointed and you didn't think it was amazing, but it was watchable.
It was watchable. Didn't you say something about the guy who directed it got free run?
Yep.
Yeah, it seems like he'd got one script written in a rush. No one checked it, no one argued it, and they just ran with it. There was no jokes in it.
A lot of people said it's laugh out loud funny.
It's not. There's a few funny bits in it, but it stops. The weasel's hilarious, but there's about 2 minutes and that's it, and there's no real... When you match him up against Rocket Raccoon, Weasel...
Yeah. Right. That'll do. So I just wanted another opinion because people are tearing strips off me for mine. Okay, dokes. Okay. That's it. Thank you. Okay, so on the same evening in bed, I watched The Boy Behind the Door. I'd been wanting to see this for quite a long time. Watched this on the back of... Well, it was on my list. It was on my watch list. Aaron from Screen Stars reviewed this and he was very positive about it. Again, I watched it last night. This is a story of two young boys who are kidnapped, kept in this big house. One manages to actually get away, but he cannot leave his friend behind and he goes back to save him. So the performances by the two young actors in this were amazing, fantastic. I thoroughly believed them, thoroughly believed their friendship. Really, you know, it was really tense. It was really sort of well paced, well acted. It borrowed a lot from other movies. I would say purposefully, like we have a scene with a bathroom door with an axe. Obviously we know where we're going there. There are scenes that are like, well, that's straight out of this movie. But for me, the only thing that let this movie down was, like Till Death, was the unbelievability of certain situations in things that the young lad would do. Like he calls the police and he said, they're coming, I have to go. Now, it's an old-fashioned phone. There is a curtain right beside him that goes to the floor. The woman says, just stay on the line, we can track your call. Why did he not just put the phone behind the curtain and leave it an open line so they could connect his call? No, he hung up. And decisions like this continue throughout the entire movie. It's like every decision this young lad makes is ridiculous. There's one scene where he's in a bedroom. The bad person, the evil person, has gone into an ensuite. He's been hiding under the bed. When the person is in the ensuite, he comes out from under the bed, opens a safe in the wall, and proceeds to stand there with his back to the room, slowly flicking through things that are in the safe. And I'm thinking, they're in the room. They're going to come out and they're going to see you stood there. So it's things like that. It's like, what are you doing? This isn't believable. You could make it believable, you know, and that took me out of it a bit. I gave it a 2.5 purely for that. The young lads acting, both of them, fantastic. I would love to see them in something with a bit of a better plot line, to be honest. Just better decisions made, just so that you're not constantly shouting at your telly. What the fuck are you doing? Okay, finally I was just in the mood for a documentary. I watched Dead Good. This, it says, an intimate portrait of those dealing with their dead, supported during the ritual of care after death by a team of women who are giving death back to the people. So this was quite interesting. It won't be everyone's cup of tea. It was just about funeral directors. I almost ended up working as a funeral director. That's why, well, in a funeral parlour as one of the people that would deal with the public when they come in and help deal with the funerals, which hence my interest. This is about a woman that when she lost both her parents actually, within 4 years of each other, she decided that she felt completely not part of the process. A lot of information was kept from her. She wasn't in control. She didn't get to make decisions that she would have liked to. She was disallowed to do things that she felt were important So she decided that she wanted to go into this business to give people an experience that she never received herself. And it follows 3 different people's funerals, different funerals that they have. Someone's very much a lover of nature. There's folk music. The coffin is like, I think, willow. It's all entwined and wrapped with leaves, and absolutely beautiful. So it's just showing 3 completely different families, different ideas of what their loved one would have liked and how they go about planning that. It won't be for most people at all. It just interested me, hence the reason I told you. So yeah. And lastly, White House Farm. Now, I watched that following, I'm addicted to a channel at the minute called Mr. Ballin. I don't know if you know who he is. He tells creepy stories, true crime, ghosty stuff, all sorts of true stories. He's an ex-Navy SEAL. He was retired on medical grounds, and he started doing these stories as a way. It was stories about his time as a Navy SEAL, and that progressed into stories about things he was interested in. And the guy's massive now. He has a massive channel, and he did the real story behind this actual TV show. Okay, that's the old phone off. So he told the story about the White House farm murders. This is a British drama that's on Netflix at the moment. I started watching it. I've watched 3 episodes, I believe. Really well acted, very down to earth, very true to the story. I do know the story behind this about an entire family. I'm not going to say who did it, why they did it. If you're interested, watch it. It is very well done. I'm trying to watch, you know, a bit more sort of British-based drama at the moment. I hadn't been watching so much, as I generally don't tend to be that much of a fan in the large part, but if I find a good one, I do want to promote it and talk about it. Like with Time with Sean Bean, which I really enjoyed, which I recommended to my mum, and she absolutely adored it. She loved it, which was great. It's hard to find anything that me and my mum can both watch and enjoy because our tastes are so universally different. But this one, White House Farm, is also excellent. Very true to the actual story. So it's on Netflix if you do want to check it out. So that's what I've watched this week, folks. There's a few on my list. There's The Last Letter from Your Lover, which I'm really looking forward to watching. I still really want to see 9 Days, which I'll just have to wait until it comes to the cinema here. I don't know when it's actually due. We get things so much later than in the US, it's ridiculous. But again, any recommendations, pop them below. I know sometimes, guys, it takes me a long time to get back to comments. I do read them, I promise. I get back to them. I'm just extremely odd in that sometimes I get a bit anxious going through loads of comments in case there's just someone there giving it a bit of that, and I just, you know, so I get a bit anxious sometimes, and I do tend to attack them all together when I'm sort of feeling when I'm feeling up to doing the old replying to the old messages. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to go now and record a true creepy story for you guys. Hopefully you'll enjoy it, and I shall speak to you next week. Over and out from Lisa Loves.